Today, on the Terrible Warriors, return to Symbaroum. This is part 3 of our series, which at this point you should know to head back and listen from the start. But if you like living dangerously, well, enjoy the ride. We're happy you're here, no matter your comprehension of the plot. This episode includes content from the Promised Land adventure included in the core rulebook of Symbaroum. So, if you don't want to be spoiled on who is holding what secrets from whom, well, consider this spoiler alert served. This campaign is made possible by listeners just like you who have decided to support us through Patreon at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. Listeners like Robert Amos, Patrick O'Shea, Joseph Outram, Benjamin Axelson, and Marco Zimmerman. By supporting us, you're supporting independent podcasters and storytellers, and you're helping to promote independent publishers too, to bring their amazing games to new tables. Find out how you can become a supporter and receive advanced episodes of our Symbaroum campaign at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. And visit terriblewarriors.com for details on how you can win yourself a copy of this amazing game. Now, the Sunstone is secured. The path through the mountain is all but clear. But a darkness is growing, and outside forces are moving in to threaten the safety of the caravan and everyone who travels with it. This is part 3 of Symbaroum, Shadows in the Mountain. A few days pass since the recovery of the Sunstone. Bartolom is kept under constant watch by caravan owner Argosto, and the wagons tread ever higher towards the peak of the Titans. It's getting colder, the trees thin along with the air, but on the other side of the peak is Ambria, and warmth, and life, and hope. It's so close now. We just have to push to the peak. The tree line is now behind us. In the afternoon, camp is made, and everyone must do their part to collect wood for the fire, not just to keep us warm, but to literally ward away the darkness that sweeps across the mountain peaks. Gathering supplies also gives us a chance to spend time with one another, and to get to know each other a little more.
Verd is enjoying the snow on the ground, picking a little bit up, and carefully keeping an eye on the male and female Ambrian.
Elendra is crunching through snow very noisily and sort of like shaking trees a little and hoping sticks will fall through them.
No trees. At this point, high up in the mountain, it's all shrubs now, and nothing above waist, right? It's lots more rocks and crags, and if there are trees, I don't know if you've been up into the mountains, where the trees are kind of sticking into the rock, they're rooted down, they're very small, they're very scraggly. We're above the tree line here, so there's places to get wood, but it's all like bushes and
tiny
and small plants and branches and stuff that have ended up here.
Okay, Linda's shaking down bushes very noisily, very like haphazardly, just sort of swinging at things.
Full on Animal Crossing here, trying to see what bells fall out.
Yeah, basically that. I can't believe we didn't bring more than this. This seems so ridiculous. Look how small these things are.
I'm sure between all of us, we will collect enough to make it through the night. Isn't that right, Veer?
Yeah, I mean, most of us, I think, will make it. If not, I will bring your remains for your parents, complete my duty, and return to my family and clan.
How comforting.
Set in motion the destruction of Ambria and its people.
Baird, I don't know how you can say things like that. We're all gonna make it, right? It's not... Bartolom has a Sunstone, so, that's not so... Well, maybe Bartolome's life is in danger, but I'm sure we can get enough sticks. I'm just saying, maybe it'd be smarter if we'd planned. Anyway, it's fine.
No, I think the snow obscures the fact that this mountain is a graveyard. And we're standing upon the dead corpses of many of Ambrians in their foolish trek across the mountains. Up north to a land that's not theirs. Up against people who don't want them there. This is exactly how I imagined myself spending these months.
Mal Rogan might not be the only dead marching across these mountains. Yeah.
In their defense, what lies behind us is equally a graveyard.
Yes.
There are some which, Verd, you would know this, that are referring to this era as the twilight of the world. So that might also be getting to you.
Verd, you're from north of the mountains, though, right?
Yes. Yes.
What's it like where you're from? I mean, it must be really, I bet it's really wonderful. I bet things are alive there. Have you any, harvests that have died recently?
No. We have taken care of our land and respect the entities which we live in conjunction with.
Taken care of is one way to phrase it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that's what happened to the estate.
Are you going to get into a theological discussion, Androme, about how the Church of Prios believes that allowing the wild to go unchecked
To run wild is dangerous?
is a source of corruption, and that it is humanity's responsibility to cultivate the land?
He's trying really hard to be polite about it. But, yep, there's a fundamental difference of beliefs here.
That's, an interesting way to look at
This
that.
is the most awkward Thanksgiving meal that people are having here around the table. Like, shut up, Uncle.
But Prios and laws.
Androme, what are you planning to do once we get north? Are you going to go to another church again?
But of course, I wish to reconnect with my brothers and sisters in the church and help bring the light of Prios and civilization to Ambria. There's much to be done.
But you'll still stay with me and our parents, right?
Oh, of course, sister.
Oh.
I want to make sure we're all settled and we're one happy family again.
Yeah, and once the whole family takes the oath and joins the church, then the four of you will be able to remain at like the chapter head with the prior. Yeah.
Baird, are you close to our parents? Do you know them very well?
No. Not. My parents were closer.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with the story. How did they meet?
Wish you didn't ask that.
Oh. I hope it's
just-
not a sensitive subject.
No, it very much has everything to do with Thistlehold and your parents' desire for treasures in Davukar.
Right. Well, they are very inquisitive. I got it from them. Well, maybe you can spend some time with our family if you want when we're north.
No, thanks. I think after this, I don't want to insult you, but if I never see your faces or an Ambrian face again, I'll be happy.
Right. Okay.
I'm sorry our people have had that much of an effect on you.
There are 2 barbarians here traveling with us that are the product of Ambrian meddling in our lands.
And they seem like fine, upstanding fellows.
No, they are a travesty to behold. It's like looking at a pile of shit with 2 legs walking around. They have disavowed their honor and their people.
And instead have found the light of civilization. It truly is wondrous.
Civilization is a farce.
It's talk like that got us into this mess with the corruption that has seeped into the world. By letting it go so untamed for so long, no wonder Prios is dying.
All I know is that our ways have kept us safe and secure, and your ways have you fleeing from a war-torn land.
Those ways defeated the Dark Lords, who would be, if we had not defeated them, coming north of the mountains as we speak.
You know, everything has its time. The butterfly dies. The mayfly dies. Maybe the Ambrians should have accepted their fate. Or maybe gone elsewhere.
Oh, that is not our way.
That seems incredibly sad. And, I mean, what is it to be alive if not to struggle for life?
Well put, sister.
Baird, I'm
Struggle.
sorry you've had such a terrible experience with Ambrians, but I hope my brother and I can present you a different view. We made a really good team yesterday.
Of that I have... Yes, I can only agree.
Don't you, Baird? She's gonna poke him with a stick.
Before Verd can answer, you hear a sudden roaring off in the distance, and that roaring soon merged with desperate cries coming from humans, characters nearby.
Characters we might recognize.
I mean, it's hard to tell from the screams of human cries for help and the sounds of howling and snarling.
Gonna run.
Well, it seems we must be a team once again. Off we go.
Oh, okay. We're doing this again. Elindra's gonna...
I see, like, yeah, Yandrome and Bear just, like, to action first responders, and then Elindra is just, like, standing there with, like, your bundle of twigs being like, oh, we're running. Okay. You just kind of put it down on the ground and get your,
Gets behind Bears.
get ready, then start running after them. So the two, Verd and Androme, you'll arrive first. As you run through the path and around some craggy rocks, you round a corner and you see a monstrous wolf that stands snarling and drooling in front of the two pathfinders, Bellin and Ludo, as well standing in front between the wolf and the pathfinders is the woman in black, with a spear out pointed at the wolf, defending the two pathfinders behind her. And Bellin and Ludo were the ones crying "Ah!" through the mountain range, along with the monstrous wolf, which anyone who has beast lore can roll to learn a little bit more about what you're looking at. There are a number of smaller wolf beasts that have formed a half circle behind them, behind the monstrous wolf. So that's what you come around and you see. You see Bellin and Ludo cowering on the ground, the woman in black with a spear out standing between them, and the monstrous wolf standing on a rock snarling down at them. And behind that wolf, forming a half circle, are a group of smaller wolf beasts.
So it's 3 versus like 6 or something, or
Yeah, and Elendra, you have beast lore, so if you
Yes.
wish, you can roll to learn what those are.
I would like to do so.
these are Liam Neeson wolves.
You can make a cunning test. It's just a cunning test to recognize or recollect a monster's strengths and weaknesses.
Perfect. So I rolled a 16, so if I have a subtraction of anything, I might make it. But if it's just straight.
No, it's against your cunning, which is 15.
Okay,
So you
so
fail.
I fail.
So you looked at the big wolf and you went, that's a monstrous wolf. And then you looked at the smaller wolf beasts and roll cunning again.
Those are baby wolves.
Lindra, known for her.
What was your second roll?
Second roll is a 3.
A 3. So
Nice.
you recognize the big monstrous wolf. It growls with bared teeth and is standing poised to attack Ludo and Bellin. You see its teeth are sharp. The others, the smaller ones, this you recognize. This you've seen pictures of. They're called jackars, and they're a canine pack animal, and they are prone to capture their prey. They are as prone to capture their own prey as they are to eat from the cadavers left by other beasts. And they appear to be following the larger wolf, hoping to maybe get an extra meal from the meager offerings here at the top of the mountain. So they are trailing the large monstrous wolf. They are weaker than the rest. They'll be easier to dispatch. There are 3 of them behind the monstrous wolf.
Elendra will say, "Those are Jackar. They like to scavenge, I think, after big, larger predators, and I think there's 3 of them over there."
So if the larger predator leaves, they might too?
Possibly.
The woman in black sees you come around and says, "Fend these off for me, will you? I know you can handle yourselves in a fight, and I can get the 2 of them to safety."
Shall we?
Baird, we have to help them.
Bellin and Ludo are like, yeah, you have to help us. You have to help us, Verd.
Yandame is already drawing his sword. Like, he's let's do this.
Have to help you. I will help the 2 Ambrians. Lift up his crossbow.
Oh, Ludo, I don't know if we're going to get out of this one. Don't worry, Bellin. They're coming to help us. You saw how they handled Mal Rogan the other day. We're saved.
The crossbow sight's like going over Ludo.
Yandermay's just like, don't.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to outrun the wolves, right? You just have to outrun your friends.
So you have an opportunity here. I don't want to tell you what to do. You can try and order them around, the other NPCs. You have 3 of them here who can back you up during this fight against the large wolf and the 3 Jackars. Or whatever you face off against, they'll probably face off against the other one. The hope from the woman in black is that you're going to take care of the big wolf over the rock, which will allow her to take Bellin and Ludo further away from the immediate danger. And then she can handle the smaller pack animals if they go and run after her.
I mean, that was Yandermay's plan as well. Like, that seems like the reasonable thing to do. The wolf's the biggest threat. Go after the wolf.
Elendra has no tactics. She's already eyeing the large wolf.
Cue the battle music. Wait, no, I'm actually editing that in after we're done.
You don't want.
You're all talking over my music. Who's got the quick? Elendra, I know you don't want to be doing anything, but you're always top of the round because you're so fast. Then Verd, and then Yandermay.
And also my friend.
And also, yes, of course, the patron saint, your JoJo stand.
Yeah.
That said, the large wolf is going to go before the patron saint.
Hopefully the patron saint will do its job this time.
Yeah.
And the pack animals will go immediately after the large wolf.
You're fast little bastards.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm. The woman in black gives out the orders. Yandrame, you more or less agreed with them. Mm-hmm. The patron saint can move. I'll allow all of you. The monstrous wolf is standing up on the rock snarling, and it's not pouncing just yet. It's like waiting to get into position as the other jackars are moving around behind it. So it gives you a chance here as you come running in. This is all happening very suddenly. Where do you want to position yourself here right before we attack each other?
Elendra's going to be triangulated sort of between Verd and behind and between Verd and Yandrame.
Okay, you're just putting yourself right between in a little safety sandwich.
Yeah.
So then, Yandrame, our tactician, where are you moving, and where do you want to place the patron saint?
Okay, so if we want to be able to get those guys out of there, the patron saint is going to be more towards the lady in black, like to try and run interference, I think, so that she can back up, and then Yandrame will
so
be...
that she can withdraw, and the patron saint will remain in place.
Yeah, and then he'll be sort of just a little bit like echeloned to the left of it.
And what are you doing, Verd?
Is there a point is there a rock or something he can hop on to shoot down?
Sure.
Yeah, he'll just kind of run up and...
There's rocks, there's old, like, in this little, like, it's kind of like a crevice or a valley that they've walked through, and Bellin and Ludo were looking for wood, and they found, like, old dried trees that have fallen apart, and so there's little craggy things that you can climb around on, and the patron saint moves into position as the woman in black takes a step back as the monstrous wolf leaps from the rock towards the woman in black, but will be instead going through the patron saint. So, patron saint is rolling.
Come on.
Yeah, it's quick for defense, right? Minus armor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's -5.
Okay, so it has to
So
roll
you're
10 or
rolling.
under.
You're rolling 10 or under.
Wow, that wolf has some attack. Natural 20 when I don't want one.
Oh no.
That's okay. I'm
Okay.
rolling them out now.
Okay, that's fine. So the patron saint will take 4 points of damage.
It does have D4 armor though,
Okay, so it's going to roll the radiant armor.
and that's a 1. So 3 points of damage.
Okay, so it's going to take 3 points of damage just as the one in black takes a step back is the moment that the wolf pounces. The patron saint had already moved in the way. Invisible at first, the wolf catches in midair as it goes into the patron saint taking the brunt of the pounce as the wolf lunges into it, and it pins the patron saint down to the ground, and it slashes into it, and it takes 3 points of damage.
Ouch.
The Jackars see the pounce, and then they jump as well. You're running towards all of this, Elendra and Yanderme. Baird backed off to find a high point. So the Jackars, they're going to run after the woman in black and Bellin and Ludo, leaving just the monstrous wolf for you three to handle. And the woman in black is like, one of the Jackars runs at and she bats it with the spear, sends it one of them flying as the other two then begin to circle around. And as she's keeping them at bay, Bellin and Ludo are kind of invigorated by the backup showing up, and they each pull out weapons of their own. What do they have equipped? Let me see. Bellin and Ludo, axes. They just so they're out lumber. So they just have like chopping wood axes with them, and it looks like they've got like Ludo at least has a hunter's arrow and bow, but it's on his back right now, and they both have their axes out, and they're standing beside the woman in black, keeping the Jackars at bay and distracted for the rest of you to handle the monstrous wolf. Elendra.
Okay. Ooh, Elendra's going for the...
So the wolf is on top of the patron saint, and it's like snarling and snapping its claws, and its spittle is falling down. And even though the patron saint is invisible and kind of intangible, it's like hitting and I guess turning into ectoplasm as then hits onto the ground behind it, and it's just on top, and it's wrestling with it.
Elendra is gonna kind of unsurely approach it from behind and try and go for a stab in the flank while she's flanking.
Yeah, you can flank it. Yeah.
I rolled an 18. I don't think I hit it.
Oh
No, an 18 is way too high.
Elendra, once again, is nervous.
So its wolf hide is fast, but it's moving and it's snarling and it's really intimidating. And I think rather than you missing, you're just kind of like not your executive function is getting the better of you, and you're just not like, where do I hit it? You're asking for help all around you, and you're not quite sure. At that point, Baird, where should Elendra hit it? It's your turn. What do you yell back?
Just stay back and keep yourself safe. Your life is more important than theirs.
You're easier to return if it's not your remains.
Yeah, I don't want to carry. Yeah.
Especially if they die in this way, that could lead to you be carrying like corrupted remains, and no one.
Yeah, and it's just, oh god, it's such a pain. God, Ambrians are such a pain.
Dead Ambrians don't tend to always stay that way.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like he's aiming at the large wolf, but he's kind of watching the female barbarian or the female Ambrian. Oh my god, edit that out. The female Ambrian. And he's saying, take care of yourself as he shoots, missing completely the bigger wolf as it just kind of.
There's a lot. At this point, I think the patron saint and the wolf are rolling on the ground, and because the patron saint is invisible and shining light, it's really hard to get it locked. Like, this isn't all happening they're not frozen in time. They're they're grappling each other. The patron saint is throwing punches, and the wolf is snarling and biting at each other. They're not dealing any damage. It's all still quite active. So your crossbow hits, and it almost hits, and it just slides between them, and it sticks into the ground. Yandrome.
Well, as far as he can tell, because no one made their beast lore, so he thinks it's just a really big wolf.
It's just a really big wolf.
So he's not going to waste divine power on a big wolf. So he's just going to draw his sword and try and hit it. Like slash at it, I guess, from the side. So we'll see how that goes. Wow, I actually did. I rolled a 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It hit. Is this the first time?
Well, you also know this is also your patron saint, so you kind of have a better connection with it when it comes to working together in combat. Like you can see it for one thing, where the others can't always. So you know where to go, and the two of you can work together. And the patron saint rolls onto its back, and it holds the wolf for you, holds it in place, and allows you to just stab right in. Roll damage.
So for sword, I think it's D6 for short sword.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's better. That's a 6.
That's a 6.
Nice.
Oh, that's much better. If it wasn't for their hide, you would have hit their pain threshold.
It's a really good stab.
Yeah, it was a really good stab. It's the Hunger Wolf's turn. It howls loudly, like not in pain, but like a howl, like a call for help into the rocks.
Oh no.
And it pushes itself off of the saint, steadies itself, looks at you, Yandrome, and because it's jumping away from the spirit, it's going to get the spirit is going to be able to hit its flail like an attack of opportunity on it.
Right.
So very quickly, give me an accuracy roll from the patron saint.
Neat. All right. Accurate. And is that +2 for flanking?
It is, yeah. So you are rolling -3.
Okay.
So you're just going for 10.
For 10. Okay. 11.
It just misses. The patron saint's
It's on its
exhausted.
back.
It was rolling around. This was the most action it's ever had since we started.
Yeah.
And it throws its flail of light, and it just misses the wolf as the wolf leaps through the air and attacks you with its teeth, its bite attack. It jumps at you. I need you to roll me a defense.
Which for me I think is just quick.
Roll.
So that's 9 or under.
Yeah, it's quick.
Okay. 13.
Woof, not gonna happen.
Nope.
It's on your chest and it bites into your shoulder for 4 damage.
Fun. I am wearing.
Which your armor, your blessed robes, might absorb some of that. So roll a d4.
Okay. 3.
3. Oh, those robes. It's padded shoulders,
Yeah.
right? It's really obnoxious, pointed, very World of Warcrafty. And
is garish.
so it's got a lot of extra. And it actually what it does is it ends up ripping the padded shoulder off, and it deals only 1 point of damage to you as it scratches into your skin.
Ow.
But the corner of your blessed robe gets some nice cosmetic changes. Meanwhile, looking over, you see the woman in black and Bellin and Ludo fighting the Jackars, and they're each kind of taking one for themselves. And they're actually, that's not true. The woman in black is taking on 2, and Bellin and Ludo are trying to corner one in behind a rock, and they just don't it jumped at me, and they kind of jump out of the way. And then once again, the one in black is now fighting 3 Jackars, and then catches one, spears it through the neck, and throws its dead body aside. Now there's only 2 Jackars left. Elindra.
Elindra, seeing her brother be toppled by the wolf, will say, "Yeah, Jermaine, go for another."
It's more like a dog that jumped on to give you a lick, except it was biting into the shoulder, and then it pushed itself off, and it's snarling on the ground. Back arched, teeth bared.
And I rolled a 9, so I think that means I hit.
Hey.
It was a 10. Excellent. Oh, sweet. And then damage is what is it for this weapon? D8?
Roll a d8 for damage.
5.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
You stick it with the pointy end, and it cries out again, and it moves to withdraw back away, and it keeps looking around, and it keeps looking in the direction of Bellin and Ludo and the woman in black and the Jackars as they're seeing the fight turning, and it's moving into the center of the clearing away from Iandrame and Elindra, which Verd is opening you up for. It's wide open now, out in the open. It's not moving. It's not jumping around. It's backing away, back towards the woman in black and Bellin and Ludo, and it's your turn.
There's no modifier, right?
It's just -5 defense.
Yeah, another crossbow bolt goes wide.
You're up on this tree, and part of the tree breaks under your weight, and you're swinging. And you're just kind of holding on. Just as you go to fire, and you just kind of drop a bit, and it goes, and it just bounces off the walls. Yandrame, you and your sister are now standing side by side. The wolf is backing away towards the woman in black, who is finishing off the Jakars. Bellin and Ludo are like they're just cheering her on now. You got this! All right, I knew we could count on you. And the wolf is surrounded now.
You two, help us finish this thing.
They're still between you and them is the woman in black and the Jakar. They'll be like, we'll be right over there, boss. Don't worry about it. As soon as Lestra here's handled these ones, we'll be right there to cheer you on too.
You've got axes. Use them.
Oh, yeah, no, these are good wood axes, though. We need these for the wood that we're gathering for the camp. Besides, Lestra's handling this fine.
You can't gather wood if you're dead.
Lestra's like, it's fine. They'd be more danger to themselves than to these Jakars if they actually tried to use those things as weapons. Just finish them off now so we can be on our way.
Yandrame just has a heavy sigh. All right. And just takes another swing.
The wolf is coughing blood. It's bleeding from multiple wounds. It's limping. It's having a hard time standing up.
Oh, wolf. Liam Neeson, wolf.
What if we make it our pet?
It's an enemy of civilization and must die.
And it's growing too close to the camp.
Yeah. It's swinging sword time.
And its cries are going to be attracting others.
Yeah, this is just no good. We're going to have to finish this. I'm probably going to miss, but we'll swing anyway. Yeah, that's a 17. So he just like swings like wildly and completely is not good at using a sword, so it just goes way wide. That's
okay. You know who is good at using their swords? The patron saint.
That's true.
Comes up behind, puts its arm on your shoulder, and you almost feel like an ethereal, I got this. As it then moves in, and it gets to roll its attack.
Okay. That's much better.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, that's a 2. It definitely hits.
It just moves up. It doesn't even use the flail of light so much as it's just like a ball of light. The flail rises up into the sky like the rising sun of Prios, and it just lowers itself down onto the wolf, and the wolf hits the ground. The one remaining Jakar is then taken out by who we now know is named Lestra, and is down on the ground. And Bellin and Ludo are like, "Yeah, we did it!" And at that moment that the monstrous wolf dies on the ground, its body begins to shift and change. And before your eyes, it transforms back into its original shape. And a severely battered elf lies on the ground, dressed in a simple wool coat, carrying no weapons.
Did we...
What? What manner of creature is this?
Yeah, he'll run up to this elf and check to see if it's...
So by the time you jump down from your perch, Lestra is already at the elf and is looking over. And just as you get up, Lestra turns the elf's body onto her back, and her arm flops out onto the ground. And you see on its arm a bracelet, or like a bracelet wrapped around its upper arm. A nicely decorated bracelet.
I heard.
No one here has Lore Master. That's okay, Lestra does.
Lester.
You know what this is, she says. An ancient elven oath ring. This one was a member of the Iron Pact.
Why was it here then?
Why indeed? Everyone give me a vigilant roll.
Okay.
Just rolling against your own vigilant.
No.
I feel like last game I was doing so well, and now I'm just like...
Vigilant +3, actually.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I'm good.
Still no.
Still no.
Success with the +3.
So you say that, and she goes, why indeed? What was that hunger wolf out to get? And I guess only Verd notices that as she says that, her eyes look over to Bellin and Ludo as she says that.
Yeah, he's loaded up his crossbow, and he's like aiming it at them. What did you do?
Yandrame immediately puts his hand on the crossbow, like lowers it down, and
Ludo and Bellin like cower. Like, we didn't do anything. We were out chopping wood.
You're lying. The Iron Pact doesn't do anything for no reason, especially this far south.
who are these Iron Pact?
Would you like to explain who the Iron Pact are, Verd?
Yeah, Verd.
Rather than the GM do more exposition?
Verd,
because you know.
Yeah, Verd puts his crossbow away and sighs. The Iron Pact is an agreement between the humans and the elves, an organization of elves that protect the Davokar forest, or at least protect humanity from it.
So
what would bring them all the way up into the Titans? Says Lestra.
This seems very far from their supposed remit.
Yes, someone or something here must have disturbed something within Davokar, or someone here.
Well, you know who needs to hear about this, says Bellin. We need to head back to camp and tell Argosto. He needs to know that there's elves about.
Well, we need to bury this body then. They have a family that's going to miss them.
No, leave it be.
Both Bellin and Ludo agree with Verdu. The witch is right. Elves don't have families. They don't care for much. And besides, if there's others around, they'll recover the body themselves. They start looking around kind of paranoid. Like anything could be an elf right now. They're being watched. They're saying, we really are quite in an exposed place. We should head back to the camp now. Look, I found some of the firewood we chopped. Now we've got all we need. Time to go.
Yes, let's go. This is not a safe place for you two.
If you're worried, Veerd, then I am worried.
You should be. Elves are dangerous. Elves in the Iron Pact even more so.
I've only heard stories, but I can imagine some of them must be true.
If they're here, then someone here has spelled doom for this caravan. And we'll have to deal with it.
Maybe we could talk to them.
Well, we should definitely let Argosto know, says Lestra.
Yes.
The caravan owner deserves to know if their caravan is in danger. And besides, we're almost through the Titans. Once we're on the other side, we'll have the protection of Ambria for us.
No, you won't.
Well, we'll at least have the protection of the Twilight Friars. Our monastery isn't far from here.
Oh. There's a note of understanding now of who she is and what she represents from Yandrome.
Elendra is looking around confused and is looking at the elf very sadly.
Well, shall we? And well met.
Yep.
Okay. Elendra will trudge off, pick up a few sticks as they walk.
The arm bracelet of rusted iron is worth money.
Oh.
Elendra, as you're looking down on it. It's been a while since you've seen proper iron.
Elendra might cross the elves' arms so they're laying a little nicely, but she ain't taking anything.
Okay. The rest of the group was gone, so it was like you got this one moment of thought.
Looting the dead is wrong.
And Mitch, just as an aside, because you have witch sight, every character that's written here all have shadows, if you're ever curious to have a look at them, including the elf that you just fought, including the Jakars that you were fighting against, including Lestra, Bellin, and Ludo. They all have shadows of their own that are described here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because it will give me temporary corruption.
And because you have this addiction to your vape, you always have an excuse to use that as a way to very craftily, deceptfully activate an ability, because it would just look like you're just like smoking on a pipe when you're actually just muttering the incantations you need to activate your witch sight.
All right, I'm going to use it on them. This is worthwhile. Yeah. We'll activate witch sight on especially the two, Ludo and his companion and this elf.
As they're walking back to camp and you pull out your pipe, you put in your 11 herbs and spices and you light it and you take a smoke out of it. And you turn on your witch sight, and your eyes take a bit of a shimmer that the rest don't notice. Like the light just hits it kind of funny. And you see everyone's shadows as they're walking back towards the camp. And you see the golden rays of sunlight from Yandrome and the parchment of flickering words from Elendra but then you also make out the moldy green with spots of growing darkness from Ludo and Bellin. There's almost no green left at all.
No, so they're how much corruption is in there?
9.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they're joking and laughing, going, we'll get back to camp, we'll get this fire going, it's going to be a good time.
He's like putting a crossbow bolt into his thing, and like just kind of placing a hand on the two Ambrians' backs.
So you get back to camp, and there's a bit of a commotion as people have formed the caravan into a corral, and Argasto is standing out there calling out, going, we heard some noises, is everyone all right? And Lestra says, these two getting into trouble again, I'll let them explain. She heads over to her tent as the three of you now move in, and Bellin and Ludo just start blabbing about like, oh, Gusto, there was some giant wolf came out over the rock, it was snarling itself, and Lester stood in the way, and then Yandrome and Verd and Lindra showed up, and they fought it back, and they got rid of it, and then when it died, it changed into an elf, Argasto, it changed into an elf, there's elves in these hills, and they're hunting down someone. And Argasto's like, settle down. Elves are bad news in these hills. We have to hurry to Yandaros. We'll be safe in the city of the Queen. Everyone, it's fine. We're all together. We're safer as a group. We stick together. We move at first dawn.
Oh, hold on. And he'll point his crossbow at Ludo.
Ah!
Not again.
They're corrupted.
What?
I see in their aura deep lines of dark veins. And now the Iron Pact is after them. They have a larger story to tell here.
Lestra stands in between. We don't know why the Iron Pact is here. We don't know why people are. If what you say is true about their corruption, my people can help with that. We learn and we study and we give them the care that they need.
At the cost.
Put down the crossbow. We're all friends here.
We are not friends.
Well, we're at least allies for now while we're in these hills.
You might even very well be an enemy if you have brought the Iron Pact upon us without providing the full story. They're here for a reason. They just don't attack.
So you have provided a credible threat. Give me a persuasive roll. That's not your thing, but it is Yandrome's.
Yeah. I rolled a 2.
Yeah!
Hey!
Oh, because you got persuasive 5.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Persuasive.
Once you're doing that, you make eye contact with Ludo, and Ludo starts to tear up, and it goes, Lestra, it's true. It's true. We're just trying to stay alive. We didn't, and he starts starting to like cry as he tells the story that he and Bellin is like, no, don't tell them, you'll get us all in trouble. And he's like, Bellin, it's gone too far, you don't see how bad things are going. And at that he admits to his corruption, and he pulls back his sleeve, and once you see his skin on his arm, you see all the stigmas, the wounds that are forming in the creases of his skin. And they're not healing, and they look infected and red and sore and a little black around the edges.
What?
And we're just trying to stay safe. We're just trying to stay alive. We didn't mean to. We were part of a group of hired pathfinders, treasure hunters. We were hired by a man named Gorak and a changeling named Elara. And they talk about Ludo as the rest of the camp kind of comes around and listens to this confession. Ludo describes how they had planned a travel deep into Davokar, but they never reached their target, a well-preserved ruins from Symbaroum. Instead, they found a smaller tomb, the final resting place of some long-dead barbarian lord. Others in the team got away with gold, jewelry, and mystical objects, but all Gorak wanted was the verdigris-covered copper crown worn by the dead lord, a crown that had merged with his cranium. And then Bellin speaks up. When we returned to Thistlehold, the expedition members lived like kings. And then Ludo says, then they started to die. Or change. Gorik and Alahara disappeared after having talked to Lassifer Nightpitch, the mayor of the hold. And then Bellin here started to feel as if we were being watched. So we fled south, looking for other work. I even remember the night everyone got hold of that crown. Despite it being dead, it was warm to the touch as we passed it around. I almost felt as if its dead eyes were looking back at me from the glow of the campfire.
Oh dear.
At this point now, night has all but fallen onto the camp. And while you were talking among Ludo and Bellin, you didn't even notice that it had started to snow. And the wind was starting to pick up. And the fire was having a hard time keeping going. And then, like a turning of the tide, the weather has kicked up. And Bellin is starting to cover his face as he's describing holding that skull in his hand. You can't really see him as much as this huge billowing of blizzard snow has poured over the camp. And Argosto starts giving orders to everyone to like batten down their tents and get that stuff covered, and head and shot as the storm is starting to billow heavier and heavier. You have your witch sight, so give me a resolute roll, Verd.
All right, success.
Ludo finishes his story, this storm kicks in, and everyone starts running for shelter, and Argosto's like, Lester, you keep these men in their tent. You don't let them out until morning. We'll deal with this as soon as this storm is past. And then you look up and you realize this storm has been conjured through a turn weather ritual. You can hear, the others can't, but with your witch sight, you can hear the incantations on the wind of a voice singing the winds into existence.
There's a foul voice upon the winds.
The travelers in the caravan cover any openings. They put blankets over the huddled pack and prepare for the long night and the cold.
What do you mean, a foul voice? Is this not natural?
No, someone's conjuring this. No doubt the Iron Pact in search of rectifying a wrong that has been done in the Davokar Forest. And if we do not rectify it, they will, at potentially the cost of your 2 lives.
I cannot condemn men to die for simply participating in something so foolish.
Of course, you're in the middle of a storm, you're like, I cannot condemn men to die! Like you're having to yell over this storm as it's coming down. Like this is like that big heavy storm at the beginning of The Thing, right?
Can we leave the area of the ritual?
No.
I mean, you look around you, there's storm, there's snow, the wheels won't even get out of the ground. The snow is catching up in drifts.
Should we take to our tents then?
I don't think that would be the correct course of action.
Correct course of action is to figure out why they have set upon us and deal with it ourselves before they deal with it.
You seem somewhat familiar with them. Can they be reasoned with?
No.
Oh.
They are here for a reason, and we either kill them or we figure out that reason and send them on their way.
Surely they're thinking creatures.
They are. They just are bound by oaths that are older than either of us.
The Terrible Warriors return every Tuesday with new story episodes playing Symbaroum. To learn more about Symbaroum, visit freeleaguepublishing.com. And if you liked this show and you want to hear more, we exist only thanks to our continued supporters from our Patreon page at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. By becoming a supporter this season, you will receive a special role in our Discord server to mark you as one of our own. And by supporting just one coffee's worth each month, you will also receive each new story episode from our Symbaroum campaign 1 week before everyone else. And for half the cost of a meat lover's pizza from Domino's, you can join our private tip club, where I host virtual tabletop games for our tip club members every month. Your Terrible Warriors today have been Mitch Wallace, Sean Horbachuk, Ainsley Moores, and me, Justin Eacock. Editing and production is also by me. Music is licensed through Epidemic Sound. And next week, on the Terrible Warriors, the elves make contact and make their demands known. But the price that the Iron Pact asks may be too high a cost to pay.